He finally looks down. The alien queen, ruler of the strongest non-human empire, is asleep on his chest. Her crown is on the floor. One of her arms is wrapped around him. This should never happen. Humans are considered weak, useful only for trade. Not worthy of touch, let alone intimacy. Slow flashback. The human was exhausted after a diplomatic banquet. The palace rooms all looked the same. Lights were dim. He entered the wrong chamber by mistake. He expected a rest. Instead, the queen, tired, overworked, and curious about humans, let him stay. He fell asleep first. The queen is known as cold, ruthless, untouchable, but in sleep she looks young, tired, lonely. The human realizes something terrifying. She feels safe with him. This changes everything. Guards shift outside. Morning is coming. If anyone opens the door, he dies. She is shamed. Political disaster begins. He debates escaping, but she tightens her grip. Her voice whispers his name while still asleep. Welcome to my channel Sci-Fi Love Story. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. He woke up slowly, not because of sound, but because something felt wrong. The room was too quiet. Not peaceful quiet, not safe quiet. It was the kind of silence that pressed down on the ears, heavy and watchful, as if the walls themselves were listening. His eyes stayed closed. He did not move. The first thing he noticed was warmth. Not the warm air of a heater, not the thick warmth of blankets, but living warmth, soft, steady, rising and falling against his chest. Breathing. Someone was breathing against him. His heart began to pound, slow at first, then faster. He focused on staying still, forcing his body to remain calm. Panic would kill him faster than any weapon in this place. He became aware of weight next. A gentle pressure across his ribs, an arm, he realized, an arm wrapped around him. This was wrong. Very wrong. He had gone to sleep alone. Carefully, slowly, he let his mind wake before his body did. He listened. The faint hum of palace energy fields. The distant echo of armored footsteps outside the room. The soft, slow breath against his chest. This was not the guest wing. His room never had guards outside the door. A cold wave of fear slid through him. He was not in a normal bed either. The surface beneath him was wider, softer, layered with fabrics that felt expensive even through his thin sleep clothes. The air smelled faintly of alien incense and clean metal. Royal. His mouth went dry. Only one type of room in the palace was guarded like this. Only one bed was this large. Only one person slept here. His chest tightened as the truth formed in his mind, slow and terrifying. He was in the Queen's chamber. And she was holding him. His breathing almost broke then, but he stopped it. He forced the panic down, pressed it deep, buried it under training and fear and survival instinct. Do not move. Do not breathe too loud. Do not exist. The arm around him shifted slightly, tightening. Her hand rested flat against his chest, claws retracted, warm skin touching his thin shirt. She murmured softly in her sleep. His blood turned to ice. He had seen her before, of course. Everyone had. The Queen of the Violian Empire was impossible to miss, tall, powerful. Her presence alone made entire rooms fall silent. She ruled more systems than any human empire ever had. She was known for mercy that came only after judgment, and judgment was never gentle. Humans were tolerated here, useful, fragile, replaceable. Touching the Queen without permission was death. Sleeping in her bed. He swallowed. He had to look, he knew that. As much as he feared it, he had to confirm what his mind already knew. Slowly, carefully, he opened his eyes. The ceiling above him was not the plain alloy of the diplomatic wing. It was high and curved, lined with glowing patterns that shifted like slow-moving stars. Royal symbols were etched into the metal, ancient and sharp. This was her room. His eyes lowered inch by inch, afraid of what they would find. Her head rested against his chest. The Queen's face was turned toward him, one cheek pressed against his shirt. Her breathing was slow and deep, the kind of sleep earned only by exhaustion. Her silver-black hair spilled across him, warm and heavy. She looked different like this. Without her crown, without armor, without the cold gaze that made generals kneel. She looked young, tired, almost peaceful. Her arm was draped fully over him now, her fingers relaxed as if he were something solid, something safe. His heart hammered so hard he feared it might wake her. How did this happen? The memory came back slowly, blurred by exhaustion. The banquet. The endless speeches. Alien wine that tasted sweet but hit harder than expected. The palace lights dimmed late into the cycle. He had been dismissed hours after his superiors, left to find his own way back to the guest wing. The corridors had stretched endlessly, repeating patterns, identical doors. He remembered thinking he would lie down for only a moment. Just one moment. He had opened a door that responded to his clearance chip without protest. That should have warned him. But he had been so tired. So human. He had stepped inside, expecting a quiet guest room. And then, nothing. Sleep. Now here he was, trapped between terror and warmth, lying beneath the most dangerous being in the sector. Outside the door, a guard shifted position. Armor plates clicked softly. Morning would come soon. When the Queen woke fully, this would end in one of two ways. Execution. Or something far worse. He considered escape. If he moved now slowly, carefully, he might slip free before she woke. The thought barely formed before her grip tightened again, her arm pulling him closer without waking. Her face pressed more firmly against him. She exhaled long and slow. No fear, no tension. Trust. The realization hit him harder than any threat. She trusted him. The Queen of the Violian Empire, who trusted no one, slept against a human like a child against a wall. If he moved and startled her, instinct would take over. Power without thought, he would be dead before he could speak. So he stayed. Time stretched. Every second felt like a minute, every minute like an hour. His thoughts raced while his body remained still. He noticed small details, the faint rise and fall of her chest, the gentle warmth of her skin through fabric, the steady rhythm of her breathing syncing slowly with his own. He became aware of something else then. She was not dreaming peacefully. Her breath hitched. Her fingers flexed against his chest. Her brow tightened slightly. A nightmare. He had heard rumors the Queen slept little. Her species carried stress deeply. Rulers often burned out young, their minds breaking under the weight of command. Her breathing became uneven. She shifted, restless. Her grip tightening unconsciously. Without thinking, he did the only thing his instincts knew. He breathed slowly. Deep, steady, the kind of breathing used to calm frightened children, or soldiers before battle. Gradually her breathing followed his. Her grip loosened. The tension eased from her face. She relaxed again. He realized then how fragile this moment was, how dangerous, how powerful. The door outside shifted. Light crept through the room as the palace cycle changed. Morning was coming. And then softly, almost too quietly to hear, she spoke. Human. His heart stopped. Her eyes were still closed. Stay. The word barely left her lips, more a feeling than a command. He did not move. Seconds passed. Then her eyes opened. They were inches from his. Sharp, intelligent, ancient. Fully awake. The world seemed to hold its breath. He stared back, frozen, knowing there was no escape now. She did not scream. She did not strike. She studied him, her gaze calm, unreadable. Slowly she lifted her head from his chest, her arm still resting across him. She looked down at where her hand lay, then back at his face. Her voice, when she spoke, was quiet. Controlled. Dangerous. Human, she said, do you know what you are holding? The guards outside stood ready. The palace waited. And his fate balanced on a single breath. The room did not move. The guards outside did not speak. The palace itself seemed to pause as the Queen held her gaze on the human beneath her. He did not answer right away. His mouth was dry, his heart beat hard against his ribs, and he knew she could feel it under her hand. He forced himself to breathe, slow and steady, the same way he had moments before. "I am not holding anything," he said quietly, "Your Majesty." Her eyes narrowed slightly, not in anger but in thought. She lifted her hand from his chest and sat upright, the sheets sliding down around her. Even sitting, she carried weight, not physical weight but presence, authority shaped into form. "You are in my bed," she said. Her voice was calm, too calm, "and yet you did not flee." "I could not," he replied. "You were asleep." That answer surprised her. She studied him more closely now. His posture was stiff, respectful, his hands open at his sides. No weapon, no threat, just a human small compared to her, breathing carefully like prey that knew the danger of sudden movement. Most would beg. Most would lie. Most would already be dead. "Do you know the punishment for this?" she asked. "Yes," he said. "And yet you stayed." "Yes." Silence stretched again. Outside the door, a guard shifted. The Queen did not look away from the human. Finally, she spoke again. "Leave." The word struck him like cold water. He moved immediately, sliding from the bed and lowering his gaze, stepping backward as protocol demanded. Relief flooded him, sharp and dizzy. Then she spoke again. "Not you," she said. The door opened. The guards froze when they saw the scene. The Queen stood wrapped in royal cloth, her posture straight, her expression unreadable. "Return to your posts," she commanded. "This room is sealed." They obeyed without question. The door closed. The human stood alone with her again. "You may look at me," she said. He did. She circled him slowly, studying him as if he were a puzzle she had just discovered. Her steps were silent, controlled, predatory. "You calmed me," she said, "when I dreamed." "I did not mean to," he answered honestly. "That makes it worse," she said, "and better." She stopped in front of him. "My kind does not sleep easily," she continued. "Our minds do not rest, power does not allow it." He listened, he did not interrupt. "You are human," she said. "Your species survives by enduring, by carrying weight, by calming fear." She reached out, touching his chest again, feeling the steady rhythm beneath. "You are built for this," she said quietly. Days passed. The palace changed. Whispers spread through halls and chambers, carried by servants and guards alike. The Queen had not dismissed the human. She had not punished him. Instead, she summoned him again. And again. He became her shadow. At meals, he stood nearby. At councils, he waited behind her throne. When arguments rose and tempers flared, his presence remained calm, grounding. The court noticed. They did not like it. Nobles whispered of weakness, of manipulation, of danger. A human so close to the throne was an insult to ancient order. One evening, during a formal gathering beneath high crystal lights, the Queen stood before her court. "This human," she said, her voice echoing across the chamber, "will serve as my personal liaison." Shock rippled through the room. Murmurs turned to anger. "He is nothing," one noble said openly, "a soft thing, a tool." The Queen's eyes hardened. "He is human," she replied, "and that is his strength." Later that cycle, danger came. The Queen stood on the balcony addressing a crowd below. Lights burned bright, energy fields shimmered, security was tight. Too tight. The human felt it before anyone else. The silence was wrong. A sound cracked the air. Energy flared. The attack came from within the crowd, fast and precise. The Queen froze. Not from fear but overload, too many threats, too many instincts firing at once. The human moved. He stepped in front of her without thinking. The blast struck him instead. Pain exploded through his side, white and sharp. He fell to one knee but did not let go. He wrapped his arms around her, shielding her with his body. Guards swarmed, weapons fired, the attacker fell. The crowd screamed. The Queen looked down at the human, blood dark against his clothing. "Why?" she demanded. He smiled weakly. Because, he said, breathing hard, someone had to. Medical teams rushed in. He faded as they carried him away. For the first time in her reign, the Queen felt fear. Not for her empire. For one human. He survived. Barely. When he woke, the room was quiet again. Familiar now. He felt warmth against his chest. Breathing. Steady. He opened his eyes. The Queen lay beside him, her head resting where it had that first night. Her arm was around him, careful now, protective. You should not be here, he said softly. You should be dead, she replied, and yet you are not. She lifted her head and looked at him, her eyes no longer distant. You stood when I could not, she said. You carried weight meant for rulers. She rose and turned toward the door. From this day forward, she announced, her voice carrying through the palace, humans are no longer lesser. Guards straightened. Courtiers listened. Humans are endurers, she said. They will stand with us, they will protect what we cannot. She looked back at the human. And this one, she said, will remain. That night the palace slept easier. So did the Queen. And for the first time, the galaxy felt the quiet strength of humanity. Not loud, not violent, but unbreakable.